If you guys don't already know, America right now is in a tariff war with many, many other countries. Now, they call it a trade war. They're calling it a tariff war. They're calling it, just imposing tariffs. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I'm just here to give you an outlook of the jewelry business and how the tariffs will affect the business. Now, especially if it's coming from my point of view, I think it's important that I share it because I'm not only an American, but I run a jewelry business in America. So this is kind of what I view and foresee what might happen. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on, here's a quick breakdown. President Donald Trump has decided to impose tariffs on many countries all across the world. A few bullet points here. The reason why he's doing it is that he's saying that American jobs have been shipped offshore for too long. Americans are being cheated with a trade deficit for too long. What is a trade deficit? That all it basically means is that if America's selling $1 of their products to one country and the other country selling $10 of the same different product, then that means America's a trade deficit of negative $9, right? Because we're selling less than they are selling. So what President Donald Trump is saying is that Americans are being cheated with a trade deficit with the other countries that are selling more to the U.S. versus how much the U.S. are able to export to other countries. Now, this has created a huge imbalance that has caused, from what I hear, the U.S. being up to $36 trillion in debt. Again, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I'm here to just present the facts and how it's going to probably affect the jewelry business in the U.S. The imposed tariffs range from as low as 10% to as high as 34% in China and 46% in Vietnam. Now, keep in mind, I wrote this only a couple of days ago. Today is April 10th, and that has changed a lot. As of yesterday, based on what I've heard, the imposed tariffs have gone down to 10% across the board, but now China is going to have anywhere between 125 to 145% tariff on them. So things are subject to change. Obviously, a lot of negotiations going on in the back end. So we don't know any kind of information until the information is released. But as of right now, all I know is what is going on. So in any case, what you may not know, the viewer, people that's been following Fire and Brilliance for a long time, is that gemstones and jewelry are made all across the world. We manufacture a lot of jewelry here in the U.S., but many gemstones and jewelry are from all parts of Asia, all parts of Europe, and some parts of Africa, right? So even in Canada, so there's a lot of different types, depending on what kind of gemstones you're talking about. So if you're talking about sapphires, it could come from Sri Lanka. If we're talking about diamonds, it obviously could come from Africa and Canada. If we're talking about manufacturing jewelry, it could come from parts of Europe, like Italy. Right, so it's a global trade. Now, naturally, if there's going to be tariffs imposed on gems and jewelry, then the imported jewelry and gems the price will increase, right? So this means that many lab-grown and naturally mined gemstones will increase in price as soon as it's imported into the U.S. Remember, gold has gone up a lot in terms of the prices, okay? Gold prices has increased quite a bit in the last year or so. Now, when I first started in the business, the price of gold was about $1,100 an ounce of 24 karat gold. As of today, it's $3,100, so it's almost 3x. Just the last year alone has gone up 50%, right? So if you are adding a tariff on imported gemstones with the influx of gold prices, an increase of gold prices, then naturally the price of jewelry is most likely going to go up. So here are my future predictions as an American that owns a jewelry store in America. What does this mean to us? And this is just from the perspective of Fire and Brilliance. But before I go over my predictions here, I do want to, first of all, 100% disclose that here at Fire and Brilliance, we are a jewelry company that primarily makes, I would say, close to 100% of our jewelry here in the U.S. in terms of manufacturing our jewelry. So Fire and Brilliance, we manufacture most of our jewelry, from rings to earrings to you name it, custom work, custom jewelry, anything that our clients reach out to us. We make it here in the United States of America. We've partnered over the years with many different American jewelry manufacturers. So we work with the best of the best here in the United States. However, that does not mean that we won't be affected by the tariffs. Since many gemstones are cut and polished overseas, it will still drive the prices up. if you think about it, there are certain gemstones that we just don't have here because naturally it does not occur here. So if our clients are more inclined to work with natural gemstones, such as specific sapphires or tourmalines or any other types of gemstones, many of these gemstones are cut, polished, processed, manufactured overseas. So we do, even though we make jewelry in the United States, we do anticipate that prices will be affected. What I predict is that jewelry prices will most likely increase in price, ranging anywhere between 20% to as high as 100%, if not more. And it's depending on the piece, especially if it's, if gold prices continue to go up, and on top of that, if gemstones from different parts of the world, if the tariffs are in place. Now, this is highly dependent on the stone type. Many lab-grown gems are cut and polished in different parts of the world, some parts of Asia. Many jewelry pieces are manufactured in parts of Asia and Europe. And natural diamonds are coming from parts of Africa and Canada, right? So overall, the creation and sourcing of such jewelry is expected to go up in price. American customers that have been shopping, so that's my first prediction, right? So number one, prices of jewelry and gemstones are expected to go up. So my advice in terms of that is if you are in the market right now, if you intend to purchase a piece of jewelry for any reasons, an engagement, a gift, a birthday, just for yourself, it might be wise to start looking into it now before all of the tariffs are imposed, and then eventually it's going to be a ripple effect down the prices. So that's my first prediction. Now, the second prediction is that American consumers and American customers are going to have to weigh out their options of purchasing either domestically or internationally. And what do I mean by that? Many people do purchase internationally. They will shop online. They will look, what's the best deal, what's the best bang for their buck, and they will weigh out all of their options. Does this company not only have a good price point, but do they provide a warranty? Do they provide a customer support? Do they provide free shipping? Do they provide all these different things, right? And for the most part, sometimes many American customers have decided to shop overseas, internationally, because they found that, okay, well, maybe even if I was to purchase from this international customer, I might not be able to return it for a refund because it's from overseas. I might not get the customer support that I need. I might not get the domestic jeweler in case my ring breaks or something that needs some kind of a servicing. But the savings is so great that I'm willing to take that risk. Now, with the tariffs in place, that might create a decision-making situation where American consumers are now going to have to decide, okay, well, the price differential or the cost difference, the cost savings is no longer great enough where they want to take that risk and purchase jewelry from overseas, because now it's the price differential is only off by $50, $100, or $200. And with that, they may opt to go with a domestic company. And then, eventually this would drive up domestic demand and less international demand. So those are the 2 points. Number one, the prices will obviously go up. Number two, it's going to force domestic American, again, I'm speaking as an American, it may force American customers to purchase domestically as opposed to internationally because the cost savings is no longer great enough for them to take the risk of purchasing overseas. Now, this may also negatively affect the local mom and pop shop, and that's the third thing. If prices increase by too much, the local mom and pop shop that does not have the financials to back up their business to overcome the tariffs, then it may really negatively affect the business and it may take them out of business. Your local mom and pop shop depends on competitive pricing since they work on very thin margins. Now, if they had to increase the price because of the tariffs, this may really affect them. And number four, all of this is subject to change, okay? So, things can change overnight. The U.S. government is negotiating with the rest of the world in terms of what they should do to make it fair to the U.S. as well as what to make it fair to the other countries. Now, if they decide that they could come to negotiations and agree, that all of this is subject to change. So everything I'm telling you right now may be subject to change by tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. If you're watching this video 2 years from now, this may not even be a thing anymore. So I'm just speaking in terms of like today. in today's facts and how it may affect the jewelry business today. So, yes, there's interesting times ahead. What are your thoughts? Leave in the comment section below. If you're in the business, in the jewelry business, what do you think about what I said? And if you're not in the jewelry business, if you're in the market, what do you think about what I just said? Does that make you want to purchase jewelry more today to be ahead of all the tariffs and all the potential price hikes, or are you just going to wait it out? Let me know your thoughts. Leave in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.